Floors are in, both sides. New body mounts. Both quarters patched in. See it back in there. Yeah. So when the owner showed up yesterday to bring out some bumpers, over there. He had a set of bumpers, new bumpers here, but they didn't fit very good at all. So he brought out this one, which I think he's gonna have to get another one. Because it's just, I mean, he's looking for a really nice car, and this thing is just littered with holes. I mean, yeah, it's fixable if you have to, but a new bumper for these cars is like 50 bucks. So I'd have more in materials into fixing it than that. So he's probably gonna get another one. But anyway, when he came out, his statement was, now the car's got more mud in it than before I brought it to you. Well, when you brought it to me, the car was full of dents. So that's the trade-off. A lot of people that don't understand body work or have never been in body work, they see body filler, they think that's a huge no-no, or you're not doing body work if you got to use mud. Bunch of liars out there. Bunch of liars. That's the only way to get a car straight, I mean, realistically. Especially on a Honda, I mean, you're not going to take a Dixon file and file the metal flat like you potentially could. Even on a car this year, the metal is not thick enough to really file flat, to file out all the imperfections. And when you do, you're flattening off metal and removing metal, which isn't good. But realistically, unless you want to spend a year doing hammer, dolly, PDR work to it, it's gonna have mud in it. I mean, let's be real. So people, if you don't know anything about body work, just understand that body filler is not a bad thing, especially this kind of body filler. I mean, for the most part, this stuff is see-through. I mean, there's almost nothing there. It's just enough of a coat to give you a level surface, to take out some of the real gentle lows. The bad rap Bondo gets, not Bondo you buy at Walmart, mud. The bad rap that it gets is stuff like this, you know, where you try to fill a bullet hole with it, literally. Those are bullet holes. I don't know if I've talked about this yet, but I found 4 bullet holes in the driver's door of the 64. One there, 2 over here. And oh yes, they are bullet holes, because I found the bullet in the door. Couple of exit wounds there. Even the door panel has bullet holes coming out of it. So that's a thug ride. It's for sure a thug ride. Pretty cool, actually. That's where the body filler will get the bad rap, is when you try to do that with it. GoPro's not gonna let me look down in there. Or you try to fill stuff like that. I mean, that's where it gets people thinking that it's not good to put mud into a car. Just replace the steel. Just body work the steel, hammer and dolly it. Metal can only be hammered and dollied so much before it gives up on you. So don't be offended when you see body filler in your car, because it's needed. Now, if you get on the back side of your panel and you look and you see that from the finish of the mud to where the metal is about that far, start asking questions. Update on the 64, got, I would say, 90% of the paint off of it. We got that left, and then a little bit on the hood left to do, but other than that, the paint is all removed. Came in this weekend with the intention of pulling all the dents and everything on that quarter panel, but my $2,000 dent pulling machine decided that it doesn't want to work after its second time being turned on. That light comes on, these lights don't turn on. Even in the owner's manual, it says that if that happens, circuit board's probably bad. Oh, great, perfect. Thank you for that. So I went ahead and did the patch on the bottom of that fender. Still got one left to do over here. This fender actually isn't as bad as that one, but I do have a little bit more work to do on this fender because it was a base model fender. I guess I don't know the technical term. If it's a non-SS, it doesn't mean it's a base model. It's just a non-SS fender. You can see the trim holes for that, and this is the SS trim up here. So I need to plug up those holes. So I got a little bit of work to do on this fender also, but the rust itself is not near as bad. I won't even need to put a patch panel in there. I'm just going to cut it out and put a new piece of steel, but I didn't have to order a new patch panel. So kind of disappointed that I couldn't work on the dents this weekend, but hopefully I can get that dent puller fixed soon, because I can't afford to have it not working. Also have a antenna hole to weld up. So I'll get all the metal work done on the fenders, and then I will work on the gaps back here, which you see the gap is kind of all over the place. So real wide up here, but that's also where they section in the quarter panel. So I'm thinking what I'm going to have to do is cut this, move the quarter out a little bit, and weld in another piece of metal in there to close that. The gap, it's a little tight right here, but I think I can get that back, but it's close to what it should look like all the way through. So I'll work on the gaps once I get kind of the rough metal work done, get those fitting nice, and then I will mark the placement of the hinges so I can make sure that I'm able to bolt the door back into that place where I like that fit. And then I'll go through and start doing the body work, you know, heavy dents, filler work, stuff like that. Probably gonna weld this up a little bit better. They did a really nice job on this seam though. I mean, it's a little wavy, but they did a really nice job on that. So I'm gonna be adding another antenna over here, I believe. So we need to put that in. Got some work to do on the deck lid. Let's see, it's got some damage back there. And then I have some new taillight pockets to weld in to fix the rust back there. A couple of little spots in there that, since it's just flat steel, I'll be able to cut that out and weld in a new piece. But 64 is coming along. I would say I am about, at this point, I'm about 2 weeks behind schedule on this one, just because that paint took so long to strip. I did have to do a little bit of sandblasting in some of the areas to get it all out because it was just taking too much for the sander to remove all that. So had to pay a sandblaster to get out like this area back in here, all the real intricate areas. It would have been near impossible to get that all done. A little bit behind on the 64, but not a whole lot you can do about that. You want to get it done right. Like some of those body shops out there will get your car in and not touch it for 3 months and then tell you, it's been taking longer than we thought. If you're actually working on the car and it just takes longer than what you were hoping for, there's not a whole lot you can do about that. So show you our other project. Got some paint on the Civic, just primer. Had to put new quarter panel pieces in back here. You see me welding on that. So got those in, both sides. And this is a polyester primer, so it's kind of like a sprayable body filler. I've never used this primer before, so we'll see how well it does. Hopefully it does what we need it to do. This car has a lot of hail damage, door dings, I mean a lot of it. It's pretty common for cars to have that, but not as much as this car did. Took the fourth off. For the most part, I came in a little bit on towards the end of the day on the 4th, but went to a parade. Got a couple calls off of that parade from people seeing the sign on the truck, so that was cool. That worked out. Yeah, kind of a short week. That's kind of why I'm out here tonight, trying to make up for missing a little bit on the 4th. But yeah, we got some more stuff scheduled coming in next week, so it's still rolling. All right, guys, I'm going home.